Hey YouTube, what's going on? CheeseBoys628 here today, giving you week 2 of NPL Season 9. I am of course your guide, CheeseBoys628. Today we are facing the Token Minorities Verd. I don't know if he's officially the Token Minorities or not, but he always goes by that prefix, so we'll give him credit. And but yeah, so of course Phoenix Sunkern versus Tampa Bay Frogadiers. I'm 1-0, he is 0-1, and Verd has always been, he's a long time, arch rival. We've battled through thick and thin, lots of crazy stuff, and he's just a really formidable opponent. Of a lot of the people in this league, he's definitely one of the ones I fear most. Yeah, I actually had a live recording of this, and then I found out that the recording did not record the audio. So for this battle and the next one, actually, spoiler alert, I am going to do just this post-com, unfortunately. So that's just how it be. Also, my computer is not able to handle a lot of high-intensity stuff anymore. I definitely need a new computer, hopefully this summer. But, that's all information that I'm sure you care about. But let's get into this battle here. So looking at his team, so I'm of course Phoenix Sunkern, he's Tampa Bay. He has Tapu Koko, Excadrill, Uxie, Amoonguss, Buzzwole, Kyurem, Slowking. I don't think he had Slowking last week. Cheetar Mega. Okay, there's a couple things that are different here. Let's put it that way. I don't remember what stuff he necessarily had last time, but he had Buzzwole obviously, and he had Amoonguss. Yeah, I'm seeing what stuff he did have last time. So he got rid of Hawlucha. That's interesting. Or no, he didn't. Just don't even listen to me. Let's just look at his team. He made a bunch of trades apparently, but here's what his team was. So it looks like he did trade Tyranitar for Mega Tyranitar though, so that's kind of interesting. I feel like his vibe there was, if he's going to use Sand, he may be able to revitalize it by, Megaing if he stays in that long, but I don't know. Or he could just have a different Mega, Not going to put thoughts into his head, but basically looking at his team, with the Mons that I had in mind, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have Aware, because he has a fair amount of physical Mons where with the right amount of defense, he even checks Hawlucha at Nooch. It might actually take a hit at +2 because of Fluffy, which, halves the damage of physical moves, or contact moves. And so that was the idea with this set. And then with Normalium Z, Double Edge does a lot of bit of damage. I just realized I didn't put 4 EVs extra here. Whatever, I'm sure that was the game changer. But here I had Stealth Rock, Earth Power, Fire Blast. Those are the typical moves that Camerupt can really utilize. Sometimes you can have a special move out there for something else, and in my case I just put Sleep Talk. Now he has Amoonguss, so that's why I thought that could potentially be an option, immediately go into that each time. But he also has Electric Terrain with Tapu Koko, so the chance of that really being a situation might not even be the case, because he might not care to put sleep on something, since Electric Terrain, while it's up, doesn't let you sleep if you're grounded. Zygarde, I was recommended to try this coil set, which I put enough speed to, I think, outspeed Buzzwole or something, and the rest of it put some attack in there for 1,000 arrows to do a decent bit of damage, then coil just keeps on taking some hits. Didn't really have room for split F investment as opposed to just plain HP, so that was that. Toxic's really nice because against Buzzwole, who absorbs it, otherwise Toxic will slowly wither it. This Clefable set unfortunately was not very was not designed particularly well. I didn't have a lot of time to really work out the kinks on it. But Moonblast is standard Clefable, of course, but I wanted Soft Boil, but it turned out with certain combinations I couldn't do it, so I had to put Wish, which was not super fun, which you'll see in a little bit. Healing Wish, because I want to bring something back to full health, and then Knockoff is just nice to get some kind of item off. So that was the idea there. I have Escav, and I love using AV on this thing. Just takes hits from both sides, and then it retaliates with something real hard hitting. And so, yeah, that was basically the idea there. Yeah, nothing too unique about this move set. But, yeah. And then Weavile, we have Life Orb, Knockoff, Icicle Crash, Low Kick, Poison Jab. So Poison Jab is to hit Tapu Koko hard on the switch in, and then Low Kick is for Tyranitar. So, again, not room for Ice Shard, unfortunately, but that's how it be. So getting into this battle, you see what he has. Hawlucha was probably my biggest fear when I was trying to prep for this, because I just don't have a lot for it. That's why I have Unaware Clefable, in fact. Acrobatics does a fair amount, but, you know, with Unaware, it will not kill ever, and Moonblast can retaliate and kill. And then my other backup is my Beware. So that's really that. With that said, he has a lot of just naturally really bulky guys, and I need to figure out how to start wearing this thing down. I'm trying to remember what I started with. He started with his Kyurem. I started with my Escav, that's right, because I knew I could take a hit with anything that he throws at me. Here's the thing, if he has HP Fire, he can just go for HP Fire, and I am suspecting him to go for this move, and that's why I do go for Iron Head first turn. So he does go for HP Fire. That's clearly specs with the amount of damage that does. And unfortunately, Stab super effective Iron Head does not kill. You know, HP Fire doesn't kill either, but yeah, it just didn't work out for me. So he knew I was going to switch out there, certainly, because he knew that I knew that he was specs, I'm sure. So I have a couple options here. I can go to Camel, I can go to Zygarde, I can go to Clefable. I know I was predicting something in particular for him to go into after this. I just wasn't sure which it was. I might have been Buzzwole. Which makes sense because Buzzwole can take anything that a Scavalier could have to offer. And that's why I ultimately went into Clefable, and turns out he goes to Tyranitar as his choice of switch-in. So he goes for Stealth Rocks first turn, that's fine, standard T-Tar, and I knock off an Expert Belt. So obviously he's got some moves that he wants to do for coverage here, but what in particular? At this point, I was expecting a special variant with Fire Blast, Surf, and maybe Ice Beam. That would make most sense to hit my team really hard. So that's what I was expecting at this point. But so I think I do just go for Moonblast here, as he goes for Iron Head, and without the Expert Belt, it looks like it's a potential, like it's looking like a 2 KO just barely. And I do get flinched, which sucks because I did go for Wish here, which ultimately would have been soft boiled, so I would have been able to recover that health, but unfortunately that flinch did ruin things. I go into Beware because Fluffy makes it so I can eat up that hit super easily. Even if he has Fire Punch, you know, I'll be able to take a hit, but, you know, I go for Swords Dance here, you know, because I knew something was going to come in on this. I want Rocks up as soon as possible because that'll make Kyurem for sure die unless he has Defog on Tapu or Hawlucha, which is still practical, it just might not be the case. Also keep in mind that his other Z option, like Tapu's gonna be Z if he has one, and it makes sense for it to be Tapu, certainly. But yeah, he does go into Buzzwole here. I do just unleash the Z Double Edge, which I was hardcore debating going for Drain Punch here, but unfortunately I did not. Would have been great though, I would have had full recovery and he would have had to go into something that would have OHKO'd me, but simply was not the case, so I lose my Z now and I'm at half health or so. So yeah, he goes to Tapu and all of a sudden I'm like, well, looks like we're in a pretty bad position. Well, Camerupt is a pretty natural check to it. However, I do know my opponents have carried HP Water when they know that Camerupt does handle them otherwise. And there's a decent chance that it's going to be a very similar situation to Nihilego like last week, where indeed I Mega Evolve, he goes for HP Water, I live on 1% again, deja vu, but I go for Rocks. So this is interesting, right? Because I go for Rocks to get rid of Kyurem, but I could have went for Earth Power to get rid of Tapu. In hindsight, I think Tapu was the bigger threat. I think Tapu was the bigger threat, so Earth Power would have been a little bit better, because then Weavile could have revenged Kyurem at some point. That wouldn't have been a worry. And then if Electric Terrain gets out of here, I don't need to worry as much about Hawlucha, but that's just how it is. But that's that. So anyway, he can kill me off with anything at this point. I am going to save Mega Camel, and you'll see why for later, but I do decide Escavalier is my choice of sack. So here I go into Zygarde, and what I was hoping is that he would think that I'm going to have a Scarf Zygarde here. That's what I was thinking that he was gonna, like, why else would I bring this in? I really thought that Z Fairy was going to be, like, really obvious. So, like, I knew that was going to be a case. So unless I had Rosalie Berry or I was Scarf, why would I bring this in? Like, I just don't think it really made sense here. But he still goes for the Z. I guess calling my bluff is the best way to put it, because then I just die, and so I just lose Zygarde for nothing. So yeah, that was super lame. That was unfortunate. you'll see later that, I mean, Zygarde could have been decent against Hawlucha and Buzzwole actually with the set in mind. But, yeah, otherwise, yeah, I was expecting him to at least switch out to kind of predict, you know, something would be on the Zygarde to handle his Tapu. But that just wasn't the case. So I go into Weavile. Now he switches. Oh, God, why did I do this? Okay. Now he switches out, though. I guess he thinks now I could potentially be Scarf, as he now switches out. And I go for the P-Jab. And that's that. So here, I mean, at this point, I'm like, he wins with Tapu Koko. Like, nothing on my team takes a hit. He could have just pressed D-Bolt or Dazzle there. I would have died. Camerup's dead. Clefable's dead. To T-Bolt. Then Beware dies as well. So, like, I would have lost right there. Like, I would have got 5-0'd. That's a handshake right there. But no, he decides to switch out. He said just in case, actually, in the chat. But yeah, he goes into this Buzzwole boy. And I just go for a Crash. And I try to flinch that boy, but that doesn't work, and he goes for Toxic. Yeah, I'm not doing a lot of damage, and unless I flinch him here, it's just not very good for Weavile, and so I see he has Roost, and he's not taking a lot of damage, so I'm like, alright, let's switch out. So we go into Clefable, he goes for Drain Punch. I do eat that up. I had a chance to go for Wish or something else here. He goes into a Moongus. What do? I go for Healing Wish immediately. So I bring back my Mega Camel, and so now I'm back at full health, and here's the chance. You know, if he has Spore, he's going to go for Spore here. So, trying to predict that, I go for Sleep Talk, but that does not work out. But he goes for Grass Knot twice, which does a fair bit to me, and Fire Blast does not kill him because he's Assault Vest. So that's basically that. Camerupt does go down. And here, I do go into Beware over Weavile, because this at least gives me a chance to be like, hey, don't bring in Buzzwole, because there's a chance you might take too much damage. That was my hope, at least. And that ultimately does work out for me in the case of differential. So that's really that. He goes back into Tapu, and he's just going to be able to clean up at this point. Obviously, Beware can't take the hit, and neither can Weavile since it's too slow. So that's really the GG. So that's a 3-0. Could have been a 5-0, though, so definitely could have been worse. But that's basically that. Verd's a great opponent. I saw the review of my team the other day, and they're like, yep, this team is whack, but it's cheese, so we'll probably make it in a tournament anyway. And I'm like, this could not be better told a story. But, yeah, that's basically that. You know, unfortunately not a victory, but I knew Verd's team was one of the ones I was most scared of. He's one of the opponents I'm most scared of. So that's basically that. But otherwise, GG Verd, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks, y'all, for watching. Like, comment, sub, and until later. Peace.